Hello and welcome back. In the last video, we created this Docker dev file. Now let us use this Docker dev file. We are going to create a service for our notification service inside our Docker Compose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is here in the Docker Compose, I'll create a new service. Okay, I'll call this notifications. Okay, and then we set a container name, and it's going to be notification or notification container. Okay, and then we set a build. Okay, this is where we need to set the Docker image that it requires, or the Docker file it needs to use. So I'll say build. Okay, now what context? Okay, now the context is where we have the file, and we have it in our .server /2.notifications. Okay, a notification service. Okay, whatever the name you are using right here. Okay, so so we go out of this folder volumes, and then we go into the server, and then we will use the 2-notification.service. that is where the context is, and then the Docker file is dockerfile.dev. Okay, so if you want to run with Docker Compose, this is the file that it's going to use. And then we set our restart policy to always. We set our ports 4001 mapped to 4001. Okay, and also remember we have an environment variable, so .env, so we can set the path. So env_file. Okay, so /server /2.notification service /env. Okay, so it's going to use this, but we can also specify the environment. So environment, what I'm going to do is, for the environment, I'll just go here, copy all of this. Okay, I'm going to make changes to this. Okay, and then here you can add. Okay, so here I'm doing a multi-select. Right here. Okay, so here we can specify the environment variables. Now for RabbitMQ, we can't use localhost here, so what we're going to do is we use the name of the RabbitMQ container. So the RabbitMQ container is RabbitMQ_container, and then for Elasticsearch, it's Elasticsearch_container. Okay, but we don't have the APM server for now. I can leave that as localhost. So when we create the APM server service, we will change this. And then for the client URL, we don't actually have a client. We can leave this as localhost for now as well. Okay, so we have the notification service set up. If you want to run it, okay, so let me open volumes right here. So you can run the notification service itself by Docker Compose up-d and then notification or notifications. Okay, so if you run this, okay, it will try to pull the image, create the Docker container. Okay, so in the container now it's running npm install and then npm install -g nodemon. Okay, now one other thing while that is running, one other thing we can add is, remember I said if you maybe start your services, it takes Elasticsearch about 10 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes for it to be up and running. Okay, and then if you run it this way, just run Docker Compose up-d, and it's, remember the notification service depends on RabbitMQ. Okay, if you don't want to get any error, you RabbitMQ has to be working. So what we can do is we can set the depends on. Okay, so depends on. Okay, and we say it depends on the Elasticsearch container, or rather the Elasticsearch service. Okay, so this depends on the Elasticsearch service. Okay, so that we don't get any kind of error. Okay, so we do that for all the microservices that we're going to add to this. You need to add the depends on property and add the service. Okay, so that in case Elasticsearch is not running, notifications will likely not throw an error. Okay. Okay, now the notification container has started. So let's go ahead and view the container. Okay, so here you can see I have the notification container. I can go inside. Let me check the logs. It doesn't have it. Okay, now you can see. Yeah, we're having issues with this. It says Pinot Pretty not found. Okay. We are using this, but it's not installed. Let me see. Let's go to the env or package JSON file rather. Let's see. Okay, I don't have the, I'm using this Pinot Pretty, but it's not installed as a dependency. Okay, so you can go ahead, install the all you just need to do is, if you have this error that that I have as well, all you need to do is just go ahead, run npm install Pinot-Pretty. Okay, and then once you install it as a dependency, you have to stop the maybe stop and delete, and then run it again with Docker Compose up. Okay, so that is what. And one other important thing, okay, you have to delete the image and the container. Okay, not just the container, because if you stop this, okay, and then also if it created any volume, you have to delete the volume, because if you delete only the container, it's going to use the image you already created. Okay, so delete it and then run the Docker Compose notification service again. For me, I will just set this up, but I think I will just be running it from the terminal instead of running it from Docker Compose.